Good morning. I'm Dan from Great Northern Games, and I'm here to talk to you about a game, Noble Treachery. Noble Treachery is a card and dice game for 4 to 6 players. The king has died, and now one of us would like to become the new king. In order to do so, we need to gain an alliance with each of the 5 noble families. So the first one to get 1 token of every single color wins the game. Sounds pretty simple, but it's kind of hard to do. So let's see how a typical round might play. First, we would roll all of the dice. This represents the political power of each of the 5 noble families. So we would have the black family at a 1, the red family at a 2, the green family at a 3, the blue family at a 4, and the yellow family at a 5. So every turn we are going to play 1 card from our hand. The number on our card plus the number on the corresponding die is our total value for the round. So if I were to play this yellow army, which is a 9, I would have a total power of 14 for this round. If we are playing a war round, you want to have the highest total value. But if we're playing a diplomacy round, you want to have the lowest total value. So after rolling the dice, we would take the highest die rolled and add 1 token of that color to the spoils. Whoever wins this round will get this token. To determine whether we're playing war or diplomacy, we're going to bet our alliances to have the right to choose. So we would look at our hands, which normally would be hidden, but for the demo are face up. And we would ask ourselves, do we have a good hand to win either a war or a diplomacy round? So I would start and I would say, I have this 9 plus 5. That seems really good for war, so I might bid my 3 token. The next player would get a chance to bid, and we would each get 1 chance to bid. The highest total bid would become the winner of the bid. So they would look and they would maybe say, I don't feel comfortable making a decision on this hand, so they might pass. This player has a 1 noble in red, and the red die is a 2, so that's a very good low, so they might bid their 4 token. But I pull my token back since they are now winning the bid. And the last player would pass. So now as the winner of the bid, they get 3 unique benefits. The first is that they can roll any 1 die that they'd like. So they could try to roll a color of dice and that they might like to use to make it either better or worse for themselves, or they could try to preemptively roll a different color die to kind of help them hedge out competitors. So since they're going to try for this diplomacy strategy of the red 1 and the 2, they're going to roll the black die since it's the next lowest, trying to make it higher in case anyone were to play black this round. So they have succeeded and made it a 5. So now anyone who might want to play a black card this round would be at a disadvantage. So now they get to choose war diplomacy. They're going to choose diplomacy. And then the last benefit is that they can either go first or they can go last. 9 out of 10 times you want to play last, and that way you can see everyone else's play before you have to make a decision, so you have the most informed decision at the table. So they're going to choose to play last. So the first player to their left would look at their cards and try to find one that might be good for a diplomacy round. Some of their other colors aren't very good on the low, so they're going to try to play their thief. The thief is in the mid-range of cards, and most of those cards tend to steal tokens from other players, shift tokens around the table, and generally just kind of backstab your neighbor. So the blue thief says the ability that they can roll the blue die. If the blue die is then lowest, or tied for lowest, they can steal a blue token from another player. So they're going to give that a shot. The blue is currently a 4, and it needs to be a 2 or lower to work. Unfortunately, is a 6. But they are a 10 now, and they are currently winning the diplomacy round. They most likely won't win, but they're still in it. So I would look at my hand at being the next player and say, I don't feel like I can win a diplomacy round either. Most of my cards are high. And this is something that usually happens, is that you'll have a lot of high cards or a lot of low cards. So I'm going to play my witch. The witch says I can choose higher or lower. Then I roll the corresponding color die, and if I'm correct in my prediction, I get a free token from the bank. So I'm going to roll the black die. It's currently a 5, and let's see if we can make it lower than a 5. It is a 5, so it's not lower, so now I'm currently just an 11. The thief is now a 10. Alright, so we're going to get to the next player. They're going to play their noble, hoping that they can win. And the noble says roll any die except for the blue die. So even though the blue die is very high, they're going to roll the red die, which is currently the lowest, hoping that they will be the lowest at the table. It's still a 2, so we'll see. So they are currently at a 7, there's a 10 here, and an 11 here, so they are winning. Now, because they got to play last, they got to see everything that happened, so they're going to play their noble, which says they can roll any die except for the red die. They'll just roll the green since it won't affect the game. They don't want to change anyone else's die to be better or worse. So now they have a 3 and they have won the round. So it's 3 to 7 to 11 to 10. So they would win. As the winner, since they bet, they get to keep their bid. If they had lost, their bid would have been surrendered to the spoils. So it can be dangerous to bid. But they win that, and then they win the token from the spoils. We would discard these 4 cards into the discard pile. We would give 1 new card to every single player. And we would start another round by rolling the dice. As you can see, we would play a number of these rounds until one player had 1 token of every color. So if at the end of a turn, someone had 1 of each color, they would be named the new king or queen and would win the game.